Healthcare institutions are responsible for looking after the health of the society and also eliminating the potential risks. However, ironically, they also generate waste which could be hazardous to the human health. Management of healthcare waste is very important. It requires multi-sectorial cooperation and interactions. It is required that policies are formulated and legislations put in place. India had formulated the biomedical waste management and handling rules in 1998. These rules have been modified and notified in March 2016. Training of health personnel and raising the public awareness are important components of a good waste management system. In this view, IGNOU is offering a 6-month certificate program in healthcare waste management through the open and distance learning mode. I now invite the Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change to speak a few words on the new rules, its ambit and their importance.
The new Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016 have been notified on 28th March 2016 under the provisions of the Environment Act 1986. The last rules were notified in 1998. The expansion of healthcare facilities, increase in medical and surgical interventions, and unregulated management of biomedical waste in recent years have posed a threat to both environment and human health. The new rules fill the gap in the old rules. These reflect our commitment to ensure a clean and safe environment. These rules will apply to all persons involved in handling and managing waste right from generation to disposal. Their ambit has been increased to cover all healthcare facilities like research units, camps, schools, hospitals. Responsibilities of various authorities, regulatory bodies and the occupier and waste management facilities have been fixed, making them accountable and liable for action in case of non-compliance. Stress has been laid on all functionaries in the healthcare facilities for ensuring that training, medical checkup, immunization and occupational safety. All healthcare facilities are required to maintain a website where information regarding the biomedical waste, immunization of employees, annual report of the facility and accident reporting is to be uploaded. In the new rules of 2016, color codes for various categories, emission standards and other standards of equipment, effluent, pits have been delineated. Methods for pre-treatment are also mentioned. The final disposal technologies suggested are sustainable and eco-friendly. For the various healthcare professionals and paraprofessionals to be sensitized about the new rules and skilled regarding the handling and management of biomedical waste as per regulations and the guidelines, it is required that training and retraining is meticulously followed. An inbuilt mechanism for ensuring that training takes place, an assessment and monitoring system can be built in. This will go a long way in proper management and disposal of the waste to ensure a healthy environment and positive health. The initiative of IGNOU in this regard is laudable. It will complement the objectives of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in creating awareness, understanding and implementation of the rules in a time-bound and structured manner.
We now present a detailed discussion on the new rules. Warm welcome to all of you on the discussion today on the Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016. Today we have with us two very eminent people, and I would like to introduce you to these two people. On my right is Dr. K.T. Bhaumik. He is the Additional Medical Superintendent of Safdarjung Hospital, and he is also in charge of the biomedical waste management in the hospital. He is one of the key persons who has been involved in drafting and framing of the Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016. He is also actively involved in the disaster management through NDMA. He is one of the program in charges of our certificate in healthcare waste management program, which is there in the Safdarjung Hospital as the program study center, and it is one of the important and model study centers of this program. Then we have Dr. Malini Kapoor, who is MD in microbiology and is working as an associate professor and senior specialist in microbiology in Safdarjung Hospital and VMMC College. She is the nodal officer for the biomedical waste management, and she was in the drafting committee of the BMW rules of 2016. I welcome you all, both of you, to this discussion today on the biomedical waste management rules. Before we go ahead, I would request Dr. Bhaumik to say a few words on the biomedical waste management rules 2016.
The biomedical waste rules 2016 is a quantum leap as compared to the rules of 1998, because these rules have become not only more stringent, but have become more informative, and has laid down the duties of everybody who's in the chain of biomedical waste, with the ultimate aim of trying to protect the environment from degradation because of improper disposal of biomedical wastes. This is a landmark set of rules which is been drafted after a lot of discussion. A lot of stakeholders have been involved in various stages of discussion. Then the rules were looked at by select groups and ultimately has been notified. We are going to be, we have worked out a small period of transition so that everybody comes aware of these rules, and slowly they will get implemented and will be brought into force. This program that is being worked at is an attempt to disseminate information to general public about these rules. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bhaumik. I would now request Dr. Malini to elaborately discuss the rules, biomedical waste management rules 2016.
We are all aware the initial rules, they were in 1998, but then came the 2011 draft, but due to lack of emission standards and lack of characterization, lack of consensus on characterizations, they had to be replaced. So now we have biomedical waste rules 2016. Now, if you look at the definition of biomedical waste, it means any waste which is generated during the diagnosis, treatment or immunization of human beings or animals, or in research activities pertaining to or in the production or testing of biologicals, or even the biomedical waste which is generated during the various camps, and including the categories which are mentioned in Schedule 1 of the biomedical waste management rules 2016. And if you look at the history of biomedical waste, British India had very few environmental rules, yet they followed the good hygienic practices. But after independence, due to rapid industrialization and increased use of plastics and mushrooming of various hospitals and the healthcare industry, there was a lot of municipal waste and lot of biomedical waste also generated. Then came the Bhopal disaster in 1984. Due to that, the Environmental Protection Act, it came into existence in 1986, which was followed by the hazardous waste rules which came in 1989. Then plague was a wake up call, HIV was a wake up call, and finally there were two landmark decisions which occurred in 1996. One was at independent decisions were taken, one was at Delhi and the other one was at Mumbai. And in Delhi it was, there was a writ petition to stop dumping by the civic authorities of the biomedical waste of Safdarjung at the Bhasalwa camp, which contaminated the river Yamuna, and because of this the directives for incinerators being set up at the major hospitals was put up. And then we also had certain wake up calls also. There is the famous INCLIN survey which occurred in 2004, which found out that almost 50% of the tertiary cares throughout India, they do not have the creditable biomedical waste management, and there were few wake-up calls also, like the first came in hepatitis B outbreak in Modesa, that was in Gujarat, and the recent we had in Punjab 2012-14 in Ratia and Firozpur district due to reuse of the needles. Radioactive waste in Mayapuri disaster is also a well-known fact. We have miles to go, and biomedical waste management rules are one step forward in this regard. These rules, they aim at disposal of biomedical waste from cradle to grave, and they focus on the privatization of the common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility, and greater use of green technologies like autoclave for pre-treatment, hydroclave, microclave, and you can have nanotechnology also, which is increasingly being used in Malaysia. These rules also focus on waste to energy options like plasma pyrolysis, biomedical waste to electricity, or the oil reclaim technology. This rules, they also focus on the eco-friendly technologies, and ultimately for management of any kind of waste, be it be municipal solid waste or biomedical waste, we have to think in the long-term sustainable energies, and the future innovations which we can look at in the biomedical waste are vacuum, or the sharp post, or the yellow mealworm which eats up the plastic, or the Idenella sequiensis, that is a bacteria which eats up the plastics. So, these rules, that is like biomedical waste management 2016 rules, they apply to all persons who generate, collect, receive, store, transport, treat, process or dispose or handle biomedical waste in any form, be it be medical camps, blood donation camps, or the school medical rooms, or any kind of practice of healthcare involves, they are under the ambit of these rules, and these rules shall not apply, means they are covered under different acts, like the radioactive waste are covered under the Atomic Energy Act of 1987, hazardous chemicals, they are covered under the 1989 rules, solid waste they are covered under the MSW rules 2000, then lead acid batteries. We recently had a revision, the initial rules they were in 2001, and hazardous waste rules, then e-waste, hazardous microorganisms rules of 1989. Now, what are the various duties of occupier? And occupier needs to ensure that the necessary steps for biomedical waste is taken and it is handled without any adverse effect to health and environment, and it provides a safe and secure location in premises to handle the biomedical waste as per the color coding that is mentioned in the schedule 1, which is the heart of these rules. And the occupier also needs to ensure that there is that pre-treatment in the form of disinfection if it is a PHC, or disinfection and sterilization in tertiary care centers, especially of the lab waste, of the microbiological waste and blood samples and blood bags as per the WHO or the NACO guidelines, and then this kind of particular infectious biomedical waste is handed over to the common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility. The occupier also ensures the non-chlorinated plastic bags, gloves, blood bags, and for this they have given under the ambit of this rule 2 years time from the notification. The date of notification for these rules was 28th March 2016, and they have to phase out the old plastic bags during this period. The occupier needs to dispose of the general waste as per the MSW, that is the municipal solid waste rules, and not to give the treated biomedical waste with MSW, and provide training to all its healthcare workers which are involved in handling of biomedical waste, at least at the time of induction and at least once a year, and they need to mention that in its annual report. And the occupier needs to ensure that all the healthcare workers who are handling biomedical waste are immunized against the hepatitis B virus and tetanus. And the occupier also establishes a barcode system for the bags or the containers within 1 year of the notification of these rules. And occupier also needs to ensure the segregation of biomedical waste at the point of generation, collection, transport, storage within the premises, and needs to ensure the necessary pre-treatment of the categories. The occupier also ensures that liquid waste generated due to chemicals is segregated at source, so that liquid chemical is pre-treated and then neutralized, and this is mentioned in the schedule 2 as per the norms and the standards for liquid waste. And the occupier also needs to ensure for the safety of the healthcare workers. So, he needs to provide appropriate and adequate personal protective equipment. There is a health checkup at the time of induction and at least once a year for all its healthcare workers. The occupier needs to maintain and update every day the biomedical waste management register and needs to maintain an online record also. This is to be achieved in 2 years time and needs to maintain the records of accidents, sharp injuries, the mercury spills, fires, blast, and needs to notify also the remedial action taken in Form 1, and this is to be notified in the annual report and make available the annual report on its website within 2 years of notification, and inform the authority. This particular thing and the notification and the website thing was not there in the previous rule. If the common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility does not collect the biomedical waste, and he has to ensure that a biomedical waste management committee is established in the hospital and needs to maintain the records of all the pre-treatment equipment or the treatment equipment if he has already taken permission from the State Pollution Control Board, record of the incineration or hydroclaving or autoclaving, and these records need to be maintained for 5 years. And the occupier, if in the premises he has taken the permission for incinerator, he needs to ensure that the standards for incineration are maintained as per the new rules, that is the residual time of 2 seconds, and the dioxins and furans, they are also under the limits, and time limit which they have given is for 2 years. Now, what are the various duties or the operator of the common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility? They are similar to that of occupier, but there are certain add-on duties, like it needs to inform the authority if the healthcare facility does not hand over its biomedical waste, and establish the barcoding and the GPS system to trace in the vehicles, and provide training to the healthcare workers in biomedical waste at the time of induction and thereafter yearly, and assist the hospitals and healthcare facilities in training of healthcare workers. And the common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility needs to ensure that the medical examination is conducted at the time of induction and at least once a year thereafter, and needs to ensure its employees immunization also, and ensure occupational safety of all its workers, and reports accidents in Form 1, and they need to maintain record of all the recyclable waste which they have given to the recyclers, and supply non-chlorinated plastic bags to occupier. This is one of the crucial duties, and common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility should be operational on holidays also, that was not there earlier, and record needs to be maintained of the instruments. These are the similar duties, and the existing incinerators which are there in the common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility, they need to have the standards which are mentioned in the schedule 2 of the rules. And so, what are the various authorities which look after the biomedical waste? The principal or the nodal ministry is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Then we have the Central and State Pollution Control Board, Ministry of Defence. Ministry of Defence under its ambit just takes care of the defence hospital, not the cantonment board hospitals. The cantonment board hospitals are taken care of the State Pollution Control Board or the Union Territory, but Ministry of Defence takes care of the rest other defence hospitals. Then Central Pollution Control Board, state government or the Union Territory. Then you have State Pollution Control Board or the pollution control committees which are there in the Union Territory. You have local bodies like Gram Panchayat, municipalities and corporation. What are the various duties of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change? It makes the policies, like we had last year, we had a lot of discussions in the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change on the biomedical waste rules. There was drafting, then notification this year, and amendments, if any. It provides the financial assistance for training awareness on biomedical waste. It also providing financial assistance to setting up or upgrading if the common biomedical waste treatment and disposable facility requires an upgradation of its incinerator. It can seek help from ministry, undertake or support research and constitution of the monitoring committee and hearing appeals or giving decisions, or develop the standard manual for trainers training and standards or operating parameters of especially of new technology. This is the nodal agency along with CPCB. And what are the various duties of Central Pollution Control Board? The duties are almost similar of that of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, like preparing guidelines, coordination of activities, conducting training courses, laying down standards for newer technologies. Apart from that duties which are common, they lay down the criteria for establishing the common biomedical waste treatment and disposable facility in the country, and review and analysis of data, which is very crucial, which the State Pollution Control provides to the Central Pollution Control Board. It compiles, and then after compilation of the report, it gives it to Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It also carries out the random inspection of healthcare facilities of defense also, submits its annual report and undertakes or supports research. In the treatment and disposal category, in the new rules, waste is segregated as per the Schedule 1 and then handed over to the common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility, and no occupier shall have on-site treatment, especially if the CMB WTDF is within 75 kilometers, and in case the occupier wants to use new technologies, so the occupier needs to ask the State Pollution Control Board or the government, and occupier needs to establish the equipments for the pre-treatment and needs to ensure that the plastic bags are phased out, and needs to maintain if there is recycling of waste going on. Then in the segregation, packaging, transportation and storage, the containers and bags as in the sub rule 2, the labeling is done as per the Schedule 4. For giving the biomedical waste, it ensures that the bags are barcoded and there is GPS system in its vehicles as per the Motor Vehicle Act, and no untreated biomedical waste like the anatomical waste or the biotechnology waste or the solid waste, it should not be stored beyond 48 hours. All the microbiology waste, lab waste, it needs to get sterilized and disinfected as per the WHO standards and then handed over to the treatment facility. And the procedure for authorization is operator or the occupier. It fills in the form 2 and 3 respectively for authorization. The validity of authorization is 5 years. For bedded healthcare facility, it is 5 years. For non-bedded, it is one time, but the authorization is applied, and if it is to be given in 90 days. If there is refusal of authorization, you have to give the reasons in writing, and occupier or operator can intimate the introduction of new equipment and technologies. Annual report, now this is very important. Now they have given it as per form 4 till 30th June, we have to submit the annual report to the State Pollution Control Board. The State Pollution Control Board compiles it by 31st July and gives this to CPCB. CPCB compiles it by 31st August and gives it to Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the annual report is published on the website of all, means healthcare facility also, and the State Pollution Control Board also, the compiled report, the Central Pollution Control Board, the compiled report, and then there is maintenance of records. Every authorized person shall maintain records for generation, disposal, handling, collection, storage, transport of biomedical waste for last 5 years, and records can be subjected to inspection and verification by the prescribed authority and Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change.
I thank Dr. Bhaumik and Dr. Malini Kapoor for the detailed discussion on some of the components of the new Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016. The rest of the components we will be discussing in our subsequent video. Thank you.